Tribal. This is the oldest form of monarchy, the foundation from which all others grew. In a tribal society, the king or chief is often the strongest warrior, the wisest elder, or the one with the most direct lineage to the tribe's ancestors. Their power is personal and often based on the direct consent and loyalty of their people. While they lead in battle and act as the chief judge, their authority is not absolute. They are often advised by a council of elders and can be deposed if they fail to protect and provide for their tribe. Hereditary. The most common form of monarchy throughout history, this is a system where the crown is passed down through a single family line. The rules of succession are key, dictating who is the rightful heir based on their bloodline. The most common system is primogeniture, where the monarch's eldest child inherits the throne. This system creates dynasties and provides stability, but can also lead to succession crises and civil wars if the line of inheritance is unclear. Feudal. The classic system of the European Middle Ages, a feudal monarchy is an architecture of decentralized power based on land and loyalty. The king, in theory, owns all the land, but he grants large territories, or fiefs, to powerful nobles like dukes and barons. In exchange, these nobles swear an oath of fealty, promising to provide the king with soldiers in times of war. This created a complex pyramid of loyalties, where the king's direct power was often limited by his reliance on his powerful and sometimes rebellious vassals. Absolute. This is the monarchy of total centralized power, famously summed up by King Louis XIV of France's declaration, "L'État, c'est moi," meaning I am the state. In an absolute monarchy, the sovereign's power is unlimited by any law or constitution. The monarch is the head of state, the head of government, the supreme judge, and the commander-in-chief of the army. This system was often justified by the doctrine of the divine right of kings, which stated that the monarch was chosen by God and was therefore accountable only to God for their actions. Executive Constitutional. This is a hybrid system that blends monarchical power with a constitution. In this model, the monarch is not merely a figurehead, they retain significant real executive or veto powers within a constitutional framework. They may have the authority to appoint the prime minister, dissolve parliament, or command the military. The Principality of Monaco and the Kingdom of Jordan are key examples, where the monarch plays an active and powerful role in governing. Parliamentary Constitutional. The dominant form of monarchy in the modern world. This is a system where the monarch reigns, but does not rule. The monarch is a purely ceremonial head of state, whose powers are exercised only on the binding advice of their elected government. While they perform important symbolic duties, the real political power is held by the Prime Minister and Parliament. The United Kingdom, Spain, Sweden, and Japan are all examples of this style. Constitutional. The dominant form of monarchy in the modern world, a constitutional monarchy is a system where the monarch's power is severely limited by a constitution and a democratically elected government. The monarch acts as a non-political head of state, a living symbol of national unity and tradition. While they may perform ceremonial duties like opening parliament and approving legislation, the real political power is held by the Prime Minister and the elected legislature. The United Kingdom, Spain, and Japan are all examples of this style. Elective. A rare but historically important alternative to the hereditary system. An elective monarchy is one where the monarch is chosen by a vote. The electors are typically a small group of high-ranking nobles or religious leaders. Famous historical examples include the Holy Roman Empire, where a council of prince-electors chose the emperor, and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Today, the most famous elective monarchy in the world is the papacy, where the College of Cardinals elects a new pope to rule for life. Theocratic. In this system, the monarch's political authority is derived directly from their role as a religious leader. The line between church and state is completely erased. The ruler is seen as a god, a descendant of a god, or the chief priest and interpreter of divine will. Ancient Egypt, where the pharaoh was worshipped as a living god, is a prime example. The modern Vatican City is also a form of theocratic monarchy, as the Pope is both the absolute political sovereign and the supreme leader of the Catholic Church. Caliphate, a unique and historically significant form of theocratic monarchy within Islam. The Caliph is considered the successor to the Prophet Muhammad, a temporal leader who is responsible for upholding Sharia and defending the entire Muslim community, or Ummah. Historically, great caliphates like the Umayyads and Abbasids ruled over vast empires. The title represents a fusion of political, military, and religious authority that has no direct equivalent in the Western tradition. Diarchy, a very unusual system where power is shared between two monarchs. The classic example is Sparta, ruled simultaneously by two kings from different dynasties. A modern example is Andorra, whose heads of state are two co-princes, the Bishop of Urgell and the President of France. This arrangement creates a deliberate balance between different sources of authority. Personal union. This is a situation where two or more legally separate and independent kingdoms have the exact same person as their monarch. A famous example was the Union of the Crowns in 1603, when King James VI of Scotland also became King James I of England. For over a century, Scotland and England remained separate countries with their own laws and parliaments, but they just happened to share the same king. It is a union of crowns, not of countries. Composite. A more integrated system, a composite monarchy, is where a single monarch rules over several different realms that have been joined together under one crown, but which retain their own distinct laws and local customs. The early Spanish Empire is a classic example where the King of Spain was also the ruler of the Kingdom of Naples and the Lord of the Netherlands, each with its own legal traditions. It is a single crown ruling over a portfolio of different states. Subnational. This is a modern system where multiple, smaller monarchies exist as component states within a larger federal country. The United Arab Emirates is a prime example, a federation of 7 individual emirates, each ruled by its own hereditary emir. Malaysia is another, where 9 of the country's states are ruled by hereditary sultans, who take turns serving as the national king. In this model, monarchical rule is preserved at a regional level within a modern constitutional framework. Imperial. At the very pinnacle of the monarchical hierarchy is the empire. While a king rules a kingdom, an emperor rules an empire, a collection of different states, kingdoms, and peoples. The title, first used by the Romans, implies a status higher than a mere king, a claim to universal or near-universal authority. The German Kaiser and the Russian Tsar are both derived from the Roman title Caesar and are direct equivalents of emperor. This is the architecture of a world-spanning power. Thanks for watching. Which of these monarchies do you think would actually work best in today's world? Or should monarchy have disappeared altogether? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please also remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.